200. The number of anime seasons that came out this year is over 200. That means we saw over 200 main characters in 2025. That many in a single freaking year. Now just imagine how many main characters we have experienced in all of anime ever. Quite a big number, right? But how many of those main characters were able to take a special place in your heart and become memorable? I bet the number is much lower than 200. I hope this is able to draw you a mental picture of how difficult it is to write a memorable main character. And since the number of male MC is exponentially higher compared to female MCs in any medium, it is that much harder to find a well-written female main character. Now, as an anime fan, I have to admit that we have been lucky enough, in the past few years especially, to be gifted with multiple great female leads across several genres. But the one that stood out to me at least, above all else, was Maomao from Apothecary Diaries. Maomao has to be one of the best female main characters, period. In my opinion, of course, no need to start getting aggressive. But truly, it was so refreshing to see a unique, well-crafted and fresh take on a female lead. From how real she feels in the setting she has been put in, to how she reacts to the events around her, and how her character adapts and grows, showcasing the strengths of her character which are perfectly blended with the weaknesses that she possesses, and her unique quirkiness that makes her stand out in the midst of so many other great characters. She is one of the most complex and complete female main characters in anime, again in my opinion. A lot of elements work together to make her such a great main character, and today we're gonna try to tackle the question of what truly makes Maomao a perfect female protagonist. The first thing that drew me to this character is how she commands almost every scene she is in. Every time she is on screen, she draws your attention towards her, which is kind of surprising given that most of the time, a show would make a female character, or any other character for that matter, stand out by just making them stand up against the status quo. You know, challenging the system, doing something you are not meant to do in that particular setting. Whether it be Mikasa standing up against her superiors in season 1 of Attack on Titan to defend Eren, or Milice rejecting the racism committed by her people in season 1 of 86. It is always challenging the established ideology that makes characters stand out at the very beginning of a show. But Maomao is able to break that mold completely. She is a character who actively tries to stay within the status quo of the setting in which she has been put in. She strictly maintains her position in the palace hierarchy, avoiding anything that might make her stand out. So basically, instead of trying to overthrow the system, Maomao accepts her reality and focuses on helping those in need with quiet resilience. This approach makes her feel more of a realistic character, instead of making her feel like a forced one, trying really hard to stand out. And because of that, while not standing out in the palace setting, she definitely stands out in the eyes of the audience. This brings me to another very common mold that she breaks, which is the fact that she is not just a support to another character, specifically a male character from the get-go. Now, it is completely fine to be a support to another lead. A well-written support character still is a great character and can totally stand out. But we often see at the very start of a story that female leads tend to be dependent on male leads to flourish, and Maomao from episode 1 breaks that convention and has her own agency. She doesn't need to crouch on another male lead to illustrate her strengths and charm as a character. And it is even more impressive because the setting of the show is that of a heavy patriarchal society. She has to navigate such a patriarchal society using her own strengths and intellect without blatantly depending on another character, which helps those strengths shine even brighter. Now, speaking of strengths, Maomao as a character also has a beautiful blend of strengths and weaknesses. Her strengths come from her upbringing, which led to her interest in medicine and poison, leading to her vast knowledge on those topics. This knowledge, coupled with her great deductive skills, allows her to navigate the palace setting as well as she does. Again, not having physical strength or superior position as her strength, unlike some other female characters, and being mentally strong and having intellectual prowess stemming from her background, which makes her strength both interesting and believable, while also having a set of flaws or weaknesses which balances out her strengths, making her a complex and realistic character overall. The knowledge she has is partly because of her curiosity, and it is that said curiosity that also drags her into trouble many times. Even though she doesn't crouch on other characters, she does end up needing help from other characters. And this makes her character more believable and relatable to the audience. As a person in the position in which Maomao is, no matter how much they know or how smart they are, will definitely get caught up in trouble and will definitely need others' help. And even though she tries to stay within her lane, sometimes she ends up violating rules which adds to her flaws. But most of the time, those violations come due to Maomao not being able to hold herself back while seeing someone else suffer. This love and caring attitude towards the vulnerable ones and anger towards the people who use medicine for evil, even though makes her act out in flawed ways, also adds another layer to this well-crafted character, as it adds empathy to her character and gives the audience, such as you and me, another reason to warm up to her and root for her. Well, I mean, if you can't warm up to the main character, it is very unlikely that you will warm up to the show itself. Well, I get the fact that this is how the show made me fall in love with this character, but for a long-running show, I need to be constantly intrigued by the character to continue being interested in her, and to do that, the show needs to keep adding interesting bits to the character. A lot of shows adds layer to a character through backstories. I mean, it is a very efficient and effective way of developing a character, but Apothecary Diaries takes a different approach. Maomao doesn't really get a full-blown elaborate backstory. Instead, her character is made more interesting through revealing secrets about her relations with various people in the palace hierarchy and the dynamic shifts within her relationships, whether it be positive or negative. Her past actions and involvements in various events causes these negative and positive changes, allowing her to either gain favor or get into trouble in the future. As the show goes on, many secrets about Maomao's true identity is revealed, which keeps adding fresh elements to her character. Well, to be honest, this is not limited to Maomao. Apothecary Diaries kind of mastered the art of revealing secret identities and ties between many characters and how those create a new layer to the overall narrative of the story itself. This brings forth a nuanced and unique way of creating a complex character, instead of just taking help of the same old backstory formula. So, to sum up, breaking several conventions about how female leads are generally written, balancing realistic strengths and flaws with a constantly intriguing yet believable character that can read the room she is in, use her knowledge to her advantage while also making mistakes and learning from them and suffering due to those mistakes, being headstrong in her beliefs and abilities without being forced into being a physically strong one-dimensional character. All these make Maomao one of the most refreshing and complex female main characters of all time in the medium of anime. Again, in my opinion. Now, let me know your opinion about Maomao in the comment section, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you did, and see you in the next video.